Looking to get started on your Texas metal building project? Make sure to utilize our 3D designer. Welcome back, Pack. Anadela here with WolfSteel Buildings, and in this video I'm going to be guiding you guys on all things our 3D designer on our website. So we're going to be talking about how to utilize it, where to find it, and how to navigate through. So in this video I'll be showing you guys not just how to design the building that you're looking for, but also tips on how you can save yourself money. In this designer you'll look at how easy it is to pretty much design maybe a 30 by 40, which is our most popular size, for maybe about $10,000. We can go all the way up to about $50,000. It really just depends on what you select in your building. So stick around so I can help you through it. Okay, Pack, so this video is going to be a little different than what we're used to. You probably see two screens and there's a lot going on. I'm seeing like a bunch of cameras and things on my end. But the way that this is going to work is I'm going to be sharing my screen so you guys can see firsthand exactly what is going on here in the designer. So that should be popped up. So you will see me kind of looking down and guiding you guys through that. My marketing team will be popping up different videos of what it is that I'm going to be explaining. So you guys should be seeing my screen now. The first thing that you see when you get onto our website, you are prompted to a Howdy Texans. What that is just a reminder that we only service certain areas in the state of Texas. You can actually access the designer through here on the Start Building Now, but if you do exit out of it, any button that you see that says Start Building Now or quote or get a quote, anything like that will guide you to that designer. Now, you can click, those Start Building here, or also directly under the Build Yours. So if you go through the Start Building here, it should be popping up here shortly. It'll give you what it is that we offer. Keep in mind, we do offer two different product lines, the tubular buildings and the red iron buildings. If you're interested in a red iron building, you would be prompted to go to the red iron 3D builder. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna be going through the 3D designer for tubular buildings. Once we have that popped up, good thing our website is working fast and our internet is going great. Sometimes it will pop up the delivery state. If you click on here where it says delivery state, it only says Texas. Once again, it's just a reminder that we only service certain areas in the state of Texas. So this should be the first things that you see on here. The biggest thing to know is just how many options we have right off the bat for you to design. So you see here we have style, the size building that you want, any changes to sides and ends, additional options, doors, windows, frame mounts, anything for your accessories, colors being one of the biggest things that we see to make it yours and to match it to maybe your home, things like that. Additional services, which is any of the additional services that we offer, and your structural details. As you make changes, your structural details will change because it is going over the main information that you have on here. So the first thing that we're gonna be looking at, guys, is going to be style. So let's go ahead and open the drop down. So one thing that I would like to point out is WolfSteel Buildings only offers the vertical roof. In the industry, there are other roof styles that are offered. Those are the standard roof, which is the rounded corner, and we also have the A-frame horizontal roof. It's very similar to this one, it's just that the paneling orientation runs from front to back. The A-frame vertical roof has proven to be the strongest roof in the industry, and we've also seen a lot of clients from our team members' experience that just have had issues with the other offered roof styles. So because of that, we have discontinued them, and WolfSteel has decided to only offer the A-frame vertical, again, the strongest roof. One thing to point out here is it does have that A-frame style that you see me pointing at here. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see how the truss style looks along with those purlings. It kind of gives you a checkered style board look, and again, just gives you a stronger roof in general. When you're looking at all the styles over to the right-hand side, that's what you'll be seeing on all of these is that A-frame vertical roof. So first thing to note on these buildings here off to your right, you see what is a lot of lingo for the steel building industry. That is standard, triple wide, and wide span. My note to you would be, let's look at the dimensions, which is in the print. We've added them in parentheses for you. So you will see like the first style is your open building, but it's a 12 to 24 wide. Your second style is what they consider in the industry the triple wide. We look at it from like 26 to 30 wide. Anything over 30, you will be looking at that wide span. The biggest thing to note here and to take into consideration when you are flipping between these three is going to be the change in the truss style. As you can see here, this is the most standard and there's not many additional costs that comes with it. Once we get into that triple wide, the biggest thing to look at is the change in what we call the center brace, which is right here. So let me switch back to the standard. You see here, there is not much in the change. Once we switch over, there's change in that center brace. And then the biggest change that you will see specifically in pricing for tubular buildings is going to be your wide spans. Bingo. So as soon as you saw that I popped up with those wide spans, you see here the style of that trussing changes completely. We are now looking at what is considered commercial trussing. That commercial trussing definitely ups your pricing because it does not change. It doesn't only change up here, but it also changes your leg style. So it completely changes the building that you're looking at. So that's what you see here on those 30 wide. The next building that we see here is your RV carport. The RV carport is exactly what you imagine them to be. It is a building that is just a little bit taller for your RVs. The next two styles that we are looking at is the horizontal garage and the vertical garage. One thing to note here, and I would like to point it out right off the bat, is it does automatically show two doors and like two roll-up doors in the front and two windows. This is not something we can remove. You can remove those. It's just kind of like a standard that we put on there so it doesn't look kind of weird with everything closed in. But the horizontal garage and the vertical garage, essentially they are pretty similar in concept. The biggest thing that you will notice is the orientation is really what distinguishes the horizontal garage and the vertical garage. So when we click on the horizontal, if you zoom in, you can see the orientation of the panels run from the front side, this is what we consider the front. It has this, what we consider the gable end or the peak where you see your peak. This is what we typically consider the front and the back. The panels run from the front of the building to the back of the building longwise. Another thing that you will notice in the horizontal, once you zoom in to the inside of the building, the horizontal is the standard in the industry. There's no additional cost for this style. The reason is the panels, because they do run from the front to the back, depending on the lengths of the panels, they do come in different lengths. They are automatically just bolted on to the truss style of the roof, which is this, I'm pointing at it right here. All of the panels are bolted on to already existing framing members. So because of that, you're not really exposed to adding additional material. Now let's go ahead and switch over to the vertical garage. It zooms out automatically so you can see the orientation. So panels run from top to bottom. And just like the roof, vertical roof from the top to the bottom, the orientation here, top to bottom. This is an upgrade when you get vertical. The reason is, if we go ahead and zoom in here one more time, you are actually able to see, you're actually able to see the additional material that is added on here, and those are called girts. The panels actually have to be cut and they are bolted on these additional girts as well. So because of that, there is an additional fee. I would like to point out something that when I was making up this video, I actually realized that the end walls do not show girts. I will have my marketing team pop up a picture of what it actually looks like when we are building. I will be changing this. So if I haven't made the change, if when you're messing with the designer, if the change hasn't been made, it's because I haven't submitted and made the changes yet. But that's definitely something that will be changing, because this end wall here should show like the sidewall here with those additional girts. So the next style that we have here are the utilities. There is a combination. This is a combination of both an open and closed. It has that open section. You can have it either in the front and the back. You can choose where you would like this closed in section, and you can make those changes according to kind of what fits you and your layout of your backyard or wherever it is that you're wanting to have this. So you can still have a storage and like parking area in the front. You can adjust how much you want open or closed. That truly just depends on you. When you have, there's still the same thing on vertical, horizontal. If you're wanting vertical, you can upgrade it. On here, it just due to the limitations that we have on the designer, it does not let you put vertical on here. You can actually change it further down. So I'll show you how to do that on there. But the next style we have here is going to be our ag barns, what's considered, again, a little bit of industry lingo. Ag barns, they don't necessarily have to be used for agricultural use, but typically here in the state of Texas they are. And these ag barns are pretty similar to the continuous roof slope. Essentially, it's just one building with two lean-tos off to the side. One of them has the step down, which you can see that I'm kind of showcasing here. It has this step down right here. The continuous just follows the roof line pitch. You're able to close in your continuous roof line, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit further down. The last few options that you have available here are actually, let me go ahead and click on the ag barn. The last few options that you have here are what are you installing your building on. This is more so we can know and also know how to prepare your building with the type of correct anchor. So you have the option of concrete, asphalt, gravel, or dirt. Essentially, one of the biggest things that we do want to point out is that we do offer foundation services. So if you're not getting with concrete with us, you still need to notify us what it is that you're installing your building on, because we still need to make sure that we anchor it to the ground, especially here in Texas. As we know, these winds do not play with us and they do not cut us any slack. It could be a super nice day, and by the time you're leaving work, you're on tornado alert. So definitely something that we still need to know on here. Another cool upgrade that we have is the roof pitch. We have seen this so much in like the last 2 years. Standard for the industry is 312. Anything higher is the 412. And let me go ahead and click on the vertical building so you guys can see how that looks. So this is what the 312 looks like. Once you go ahead and start clicking on these, it automatically starts changing it. And what you can see here is what's changing is the steepness of that roof peak. So there's our 412, 512, 612. This is definitely, like if you have a house, we're seeing some of those modern builds be either flat roof or have like a very steep peak. So it's definitely something to look for here. Keep in mind though, anything more than the 312 does come at an additional cost. Another thing to keep in mind is the higher the roof pitch, you could be getting into equipment fees. Why equipment fees? Because if you have, say, I was listening to one of our salesmen today talk, and he was like, hey, your building is 16 feet tall, but if you have the 312, you're gonna be looking at 19 feet. But say you have the 412, you might be looking at 20, 21 feet. So because of that, might be something that the team might not, our installation crew might not be able to install without equipment. So keep in mind that anything probably about 412 and up, you're automatically going to be adding an equipment fee, and that can get a little hefty depending on how long we need to be out there. You can be looking at anywhere between $2,000 to $6,000. So definitely keep that in mind. Pitches can be calculated. It's something that you're interested in when you're talking to the sales rep. If I were you, I would let them do the math. Because I personally, if I didn't work in this industry, it would be a little hard for me to remember rise over run. But essentially when you're looking at peaks, for 312, for every 12 inches out, you're going 3 inches up. So same thing with your 412, every 12 inches out, 4 inches up, so on and so forth. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. Go ahead and ask your salesman, hey, I'm looking to get this clearance, or I would like it for it to be like this. What is it that I'm looking at in the peak? You can ask them what your eave height will be and what your peak height will be. The last thing that's shown in this section is your center storage. Center storages are mainly, I would remember it very much with utility buildings. If you see here, here's where you can pretty much choose where you want your utility. Here it automatically shows you it's in the back. If you want to move it to the front, you see that once you click on that, it automatically switches it over. If you don't want it, it'll kind of bring you back to an open building. If you have an enclosed building like the vertical garage and you do decide to put front or back, it actually puts it inside. So you just have to kind of zoom inside, see the inside of the building where all the trussing is shown, and it pretty much still closes in that section. So it still creates a storage area Just keep in mind this does add an additional cost because you're adding material on the inside, even though you can't see it from the outside. So I am going to be going back up here to style and just clicking on one of these here so we can move on to the next size, which is the next section, which is size. This is where you finally get to choose the actual dimensions of your building. Keep in mind when you are talking to anyone in the industry, one of the things of how we look at dimensions is always width, length, and height. Why we do this is because width is one of the biggest drivers of price for you. So that way we can kind of see what it is that you're looking for. So typically if you say, hey, I want a 40 by 30, we'll ask you, hey, is it 40 wide, 40 long? That way we know that we're on the same page. Biggest thing again, driver of price, and helps you avoid if you don't want to go into that commercial truss, or also equipment fees. So we would just want to make sure that we're on the same page. Biggest thing here, you can drop down and select a size. If there's not a size that if there's a size that you would like and you don't see it on here, definitely let us know, because it'll tell you anything wider than this and it gives you that little custom on there. Let us know, and at that point we might have to give you a call and really see what it is that you're looking for so we can get you the price. So in this case I'm going to do a 30 by 40, 30 by 40, and a 40 by 60 are one of our most popular sizes in the industry. I'm hoping my team is popping up some of our cool projects that we have on there. But the next thing to look at is going to be your height. Height is something that I haven't touched too much base on here and how that affects your price. One thing about height is here at WolfSteel, we do build a little differently when it comes to the leg height and the leg styles. So if you see here, you can actually see it on the designer, and that might be something if it's something that you're not aware of, you don't notice a difference. But right now it has it at the standard 10. If we go to a 12, the 12-foot leg height is still at a single leg. Let's go ahead and scroll down and go to the 13th. If you actually zoom in, you will see that this now shows a double leg. So at a 13 foot, we do have a double leg. Anything higher, so 13 and 14 are at the double leg, excuse me. Anything higher than 15, you are now getting into that different style of leg. It is a double welded column with a spacer. So this is typically what you will see on here. We also have a note to kind of show you how that looks. But the thing to note here is as the building gets taller, here in Texas, these buildings are very susceptible to lateral pressure. So obviously as things get taller, it's easier for it to sway back and forth. And like I mentioned, Texas winds, they are not cutting us any slack. Once you get taller, there is going to be additional fees. Now, if you're comparing us, specifically WolfSteel buildings, to another company, keep in mind that this might be something that we'll be doing to your building. If you tell us like, hey, this is the price that I'm getting and the height is very different, we'll probably ask you, either to give us some insights as to how they told you that the building is going to be built, because we do build our legs specifically like this. This is something that we have seen in the industry, but for WolfSteel buildings, this is how we build, and we will not be building anything less than this. This is definitely quality for us. So the next thing that the next section that we're going to be looking at here is our sides and ends. So let me go ahead. So there's different things that you can do on here. The biggest thing here is definitely anything that you want to add onto your sides and ends, right? So another thing that you can do here is adding lean-tos. So you can see here, it does give you the ability to do, your front and back lean-to, or your left and right lean-to. Center section is talking about anything if like the main building section part here. A cool thing about this section here is you have the ability to add or really customize your lean-to. So once you kind of click on a specific section, so if I click on front lean-to, it'll highlight that area in orange. So if you see here, this is where the main building is. Since I selected front lean-to, it shows it here. If I go ahead and go to the right and go ahead and add a lean-to, you can see once I kind of turn this around, here's where your main building would be. Here's where your lean-to is off. Everything that you are selecting is in orange. It can get a little confusing here, so that's why that selection shows on here. So when you select a lean-to, so for example, I'm showing a lean-to here, there is different abilities once you have that. So lean-to shows on here. You can do the open, just the lean-to open, or it says lean with storage. So lean with storage means that it has, similar to the utility, it has a little storage section. If you have just the lean-to, go here, you have the ability to change the roof pitch of your building. Lean-to, just the lean-to portion does not affect your main building. So you can see that we have those options here. Once you go into your lean-to, what's called the lean-to gable end, which again is anything that we call the gable end, is what we consider the front and the back, which is where you see that peak, and you see that here shown in your, where I am highlighting right now. You have your right side walls, so any side wall that you have, if I would put it on the other side, it would say left side wall, and your back, so your front and back gable ends. When you click on the drop down here, there is a lot of lingo, guys. Again, lingo that is typically used in the industry. I typically would suggest play with it around a little bit, select one, select the other, and see what it goes. Fully enclosed is fully enclosed from top to bottom, and if you're clicking on the side, so let me go to the side, fully enclosed closes the full side. Gable end, what we considered again the gable end is where you see that peak. When you're saying closing the gable end is from the peak to the top of where your leg starts. So example, here, technically the peak is right here at the connection to the front of where the leg starts. So that's what the gable end is here. It's also called, and there's also something called the extended gable end, which means it extends a certain amount past where the leg starts. Panels are typically about 3 feet wide, so when it says half a panel, you're looking at about 1.5 feet. Then it also gives you the ability to do 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want anything more than that, if your lean-to is taller, let us know. That is something that we, not shown on here, but definitely something that you can do. So if you say 3 feet, you'll see that it kind of comes down more here. There's also where it gives you, like, if you want to just close the left side and you want to have this open, your right side, left side with the gable, right? So it closes your left side plus that gable end section that I showed you. So you have the ability to do that, or just keep it open if that's something that you would want. All the same options are shown under each of the front gable sides. Under your your sidewall, under your sidewall you have the ability, similar to the extended gable, to just go down a certain amount of panels. So if we zoom in here, so I can show you this, like a panel and a half, 1.5, 3 feet, 4 feet, similar to that extended gable. So if we were to do, hey, I want the panel to come down here. Sometimes people have this for, if they have it where it's facing the sun, these panels kind of block that sunlight there. So it's definitely something you have the ability to do so. Another thing that you have here is clicking on their center section. Say we don't want any lean-tos, but we want the center section. On the center section, you actually have the ability to fully enclose the building. So maybe you changed your mind further down here and you're like, actually, I kind of do want a garage, right? You can click on your front gable, fully enclose it. Again, same sections, just your gable end, which is this peak to the top of where your leg starts. Or you want maybe your gable to come down, extended, similar to this. In this case, we can fully enclose it. And then we can go to the back gable, fully enclose it as well here. And your side walls, fully enclose it. So essentially you have the ability to fully enclose your building if you chose the style that was open. Let me show you. If you chose one of these styles that was open, but maybe now you want to do the garage, you have the ability to manually do that down here on your sides and ends. One thing that I would like to point out is it doesn't give you the option for anything in regards to panel orientation. That'll be further down. So the panel orientation is actually changed here under your additional options. So additional options, there's a lot of things that you can change here. So as you can see, there's a lot of things that you have the ability to do. Here's your panel orientation if you added it manually and didn't choose it from the style up here. You also have the ability to change your frame gauging, colors if you want to do colored screws, panel upgrades, certain certifications, and just one of the options that we offer for insulation. So when we click on here, as you see, since I added this manually, I didn't necessarily select it from the style, so it automatically adds it to the horizontal. Again, horizontal panels are the standard panel that we add in the industry. So that's why it automatically puts it on here, because those are at no additional cost. We went ahead and upgraded it to vertical, bam, switches it over. Another thing that you have the ability to do here is change your frame gauging. 14 gauge is the standard tubing that is offered in the tubular metal building industry. This tubing comes with the standard workmanship warranty that is offered, and it is a 2.5 by 2.5 square tubing. If you upgrade, there's a heavy duty gauge offering, which is the 12 gauge. You don't really see much change on here. Even if you kind of switch between these two, there's not really much change that's done from the look of it. It is mainly kind of the tubing that we go out and we add to your building. This is an upgrade. It is 2.25 by 2.25 tubing, and it is thicker. So just as a rule of thumb, when you're talking about gauging, whether it be tubing or sheeting, which we'll talk a little bit about it later on. This tubing, the smaller the number, the thicker the gauge. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this building to the 12 gauge. Colored screws, the standard screws that are offered in the industry or for buildings are galvanized steel, and that just looks exactly what you could think of. You know, they are like a grayish metal color, what we associate metal to look like. Or there is colored screws. Colored screws are an additional cost. We automatically add them. That way you don't have, especially like if you see here, this is a brown building, it automatically adds brown as a color. But any of those darker colors like brown, black, things like that, you don't want those eyesores of like screws sticking out. At least from my personal perspective, some people like it and they say it gives it an edgy look. That's definitely something that you can choose on here. Standard, we have it set to give you the colored screws. When we talk about panel upgrades, we are talking about the sheeting on the buildings. So standard in the industry, again, is 29 gauge. The 29 gauge is also added just as a standard. You can upgrade to 26 gauge panels. This has a little bit more strength. Again, the smaller the gauging, the thicker it is. It is stronger, and we definitely recommend it if you're trying to, really take care against like hail, things like that, because as we mentioned, this Texas weather is not cutting us any slack, and so that heavier gauge can protect you against these type of things. Harsher weather is things that we might have. The second to last thing that we show on here is certifications. Certifications has to do more on the packages that are added depending on where you are at on wind loads. Winds are definitely one of the biggest things that we look at here in the industry. When you might have to add a severe wind package would be in the area of like Houston. We don't service the city of Corpus Christi, but like definitely anything along the coast is where we would be looking at adding a severe wind package. What that means is additional framing members are added. As a standard in the industry, when we say 5 feet on center, it means each of these trusses are 5 feet apart. Maybe we'll need to lower the spacing on there, add additional material, maybe like additional girts or cross bracing, things like that, in order to make sure that your building can withstand that wind. That's what you're seeing here for the severe wind warranty package, and we'll warranty it according to where you are. You also have the 120 anchor package for concrete anchors, or 120 depending if you're installing it on the ground where we're going to be needing to do mobile home anchors. We also have the option for no certification. This is something that, although the option is on there, your building still needs to be anchored onto something, guys. So if you do select no certification, this will be something that when we do reach out to you, our salesman will probably ask you, hey, what is this building going to be installed on? That way we know what it is that we need to anchor your building to and what anchors we need to take out. The last thing that's shown on here is the insulation material. It gives you the option of no insulation. It actually has 2 little notes next to it. It lets you know that we also offer a different type of insulation for tubular buildings. This insulation is the spray foam insulation. It tells you the 1 inch and the 2 inch. But the offer that's on here is the radiant barrier insulation. We recommend radiant barrier insulation if you're looking to keep your building on the cooler side. What it does is it reflects radiant energy that is on your buildings, that kind of lands on your building. So as we know, that Texas sun, it'll kind of reflect it on there. Now, if you're looking to thermal control your building, definitely talk to one of our salesmen about this spray foam or the other insulation options that we offer. But when you're clicking radiant barrier, it actually asks you if you want to do it for just the roof, the sidewalls, or maybe if you want to do the full building, you would just select all. The next section we're going to be looking at is going to be our doors, windows, and frame mounts. This is actually my personal favorite on the designer, and this is just because this is, I feel like, where you truly make it yours. And so again, we're still working in that center section. It's a little bit different here, and this is just due to the fact of how things are added. In the other one, you had like a drop down of where all of the options were. Here, you kind of add it before. So when we talk about doors, these are your service doors or your walk-in doors, right? These are your mobile home doors. Let me go ahead and add it on here. So this is what your mobile home doors are, the standard doors that are offered in the industry. They are a wooden core vinyl coated door that sits on the base row of the building. Your heavy duty doors are the ones that come in the 36 by 84 and the 48 by 84. The thing about these is actually you have the ability to kind of switch between these two, and it does show a little bit of the information, the switch on based off the information here. It's a little bit different because the other ones, as I mentioned, has a drop down here. You actually make the changes by clicking on this little pencil next to the what it is that you're looking to get, right? So here we have the door. Next we have here is our windows. Windows, we offer 3 different types of windows. Some are insulated, some are non-insulated. So if we click on our little pencil here, we offer the 36 by 36 non-insulated with grid. And then we have the 36 by 36 that's insulated with the grid. And then you also have the 30 by 54, and those are insulated, but it does not have a grid. And if you click on it, you can see kind of what it's showing here. Again, all the changes are done through the pencil. As we move on from windows, or actually one thing that I would like to mention about windows, or just all of any of these accessories that you have on here, is that our clients do have the ability to kind of click on or bring in different size windows or doors or anything like that. That's definitely something that you can do. We do request that you have it present at the time of installation. Once you let us know what are the frame outs, what are the dimensions of the door, window, or whatever it is that you're looking to get outsourced. Let us know what the dimensions are, have it present, we can install it for you. When we are out there installing, there is going to be an additional fee, which is going to be the labor fee for us to install it on there. Another thing that I would like to point out is just make sure that you let us know when it's on there, or make sure that you have it there so we can go ahead and get that installed for you. I know there's a lot of different options. Home Depot's, Lowe's, or anything like that has these options, so we don't want to just limit you to the options that we have, especially if this is going to be like a business or anything like that where you would like to have custom doors. So definitely something that you can have. When we are speaking about frame mounts, which is the next option that we have here, it looks a little funny when you first click on it because it's so little. Let me just go ahead and move it over here. Again, changes are done with this little pencil. Frame mounts are a little bit more custom. You can adjust the width and the height however you want them. So let's say we want maybe a 10 by 12. We're gonna get a 10 by 12, right? What you see inside here is the inside of the building. So there's different things that you can do. One of the things that I would like to point out on here is when it talks about intersecting with the leg or the header, or removing a leg. So once you move things around here, you can see that this means that we're going to be removing 2 legs here. It means we're going to be needing to add a header. So even though you have a frame out, as I mentioned, we still need to know the dimensions or weight or things like that of what the product that you're going to be bringing in. That way we can adjust the outside of the building around this. In this case, we might need to add a header to have this frame out on here. You have the ability to change the type of style. What that means is how it looks, the frame out itself. The square is just the traditional open, no additional cost or anything like that. But when you add the 45 degrees, it adds this I like to think that it adds a very, very personal touch. We typically tend to call them just 45-degree cuts or Texas cuts. And these frame mounts this frame mount style does add additional price because there is additional labor and you do have to cut them out here. I'm hoping to be propping up some pictures so you can see what that looks like. But again, if this is a frame mount, something that you would like to do, maybe for your windows, so you can make them a little bit smaller. So maybe just a, it actually does not give you the option for the window. So if something like as small as like maybe a 3x6, that you have a window like that, just let us know, and that's something that we would, you would have to let us know whenever our salesman reaches out to you. But these are the options that we have here for frame mounts. For your roll-up doors, they were going to, it does tell you that it does not fit on the wall. So let's go ahead and click on the back, or in this case, it is the front wall. It tells you which one you are on. And again, it is, when you select something, it is an orange. So say we're gonna go to the roll-up doors. We want the roll-up door on this side. Again, for us to make any changes, you will highlight the little pencil. What you see here is going to be some of the standard sizes that we offer for roll-up doors. Roll-up doors are steel coil doors that roll up into a barrel on the top of the opening. I will be propping up some pictures for you to be able to see those on here. The standard options that are listed here, you still have the option to change the style similar to what I showed you guys on the frame mounts. If there's any type of door that you do not see on here, maybe you want something like a 16 wide, anything like that, we can do that. It would just be custom, so you would have to give our salesman probably a little bit of time to get back to you on that price so we can go ahead and present those to you. There is an additional cost for that custom price, and then obviously the smaller the door, the more cost effective versus the bigger the door, a little bit more expensive on the price. Also, that header to support the weight of that door and that barrel might be a little bit bigger, so there might be additional costs that go into those doors. Let's go ahead and move this door over and add a garage door. So garage doors, I personally think these are my favorite. Garage doors are, when you talk about garage doors, sometimes garage door can be used interchangeably for roll-up door or overhead doors. When we say garage door, we specifically mean our overhead doors. So overhead doors are on a more residential, kind of what you see more in your home for your personal garage that is attached to your house. And these doors are significantly more expensive, but in my opinion, they are completely worth it. They stand out in your neighborhood. That is something that kind of can distinguish you a little bit. Maybe we've had a couple customers that match their overhead doors on their house, match their overhead door on their garage. So these are definitely really, really worth it, if you ask me. These doors are sectional doors. They can be insulated or non-insulated, and they run on a track system that goes into your building. So that can be a little con that you have for those doors. You can adjust the track system, and that's something that would be an upgraded cost if you would like them to follow the roof line or vertical track systems on here. Let's go ahead and click on the different sizes. As you can see here, these are different sizes that are offered for our overhead doors. All of them do say non-insulated, but they can be insulated if you request to do so. Definitely just let us know and we can get you the price for those. But those are the two options that we have for your main doors, your garage doors. I do want to point out to check out a video that we have, which is what is the best metal building garage door, where we compare the pros and cons of both of these doors, because they definitely have their pros and cons. Really just depends on what it is that you're going to be using. Another cool thing that you have here is going to be your vents. Vents are mainly to just add ventilation to your building, depending on what it is that you're looking to do for your building. Are you looking to thermal control it? Do you want airflow on there? Definitely something to let us know. But this is where you go ahead and add them. It automatically adds them towards the top of the building. If you want to add another one on the other side, just select your back wall, add your vent, automatically adds them on here. Cool thing that cool feature that this has is, say I select this left wall, I can go ahead and put center items and it'll automatically create, make sure that they're all centered. Or if I'm like, actually I don't like how this looks, let me go ahead and clear it out. You can go ahead and clear it out at that time. And one thing I didn't mention about the vents is we only offer one size, which is the 14 by 14 vents. Let's move on. My building looks a little crazy, but I'm definitely adding just a little bit of everything so you guys can see. The next section, which is again kind of getting into the most personal side of things, that is going to be colors. So we offer 15 colors for you guys to choose from. Here is also where you can choose your wainscoting color, and what that is a two-tone, kind of what you saw when we selected the size up here for the vertical garage that had the two-tone. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. The 15 colors to choose from, you can choose something different for your roof, your sides, and your trim colors. So say, let's go with what's been very, very popular, our black and white. So say we do a white roof or maybe a black roof. You can see how that looks here. Personally, I really like some of these colors that stand out, the evergreen, the royal blue, not because I'm a Cowboys fan, but I definitely love that royal blue color. Your trim colors is anything that you can see here around, which let's go ahead and do something that stands out, maybe like white. So you can see what that trim will look like. It is anything around here and on here. And if you have frame mounts, and if you have frame mounts, it will be shown on there. Your siding is all around the building, so most popular colors, let's do black and white. And your wainscoting is that two-tone where there's two colors down below. So let's go ahead and pick that black. This is one of our most popular color combos this year and last year. One thing that I would like to point out about wainscoting is if you go with the horizontal, again, because the horizontal panels are standard, when you're doing the horizontal wainscoting, the panels just overlap. So there's no additional fee for wainscoting. But if you are getting vertical, there is an additional fee. The reason is they are having to go out there, cut this panel and cut this panel, and there is an additional trim that is added on here. It is called the Z trim. At that point, there's additional labor that goes into it, so it is a little bit more expensive. But we are reaching the end of the video, guys. So we still have additional services. This is actually a very, very, very important section. Additional services pretty much tells you everything that WolfSteel has to offer. So let's say maybe at the beginning I showed you guys that we have two different product lines. We have our red iron and our tubular. If you're interested in maybe seeing what the prices for both, go ahead and click on here. It does say separate designer, so typically our team will send you another design link for you to see what that would look like in a red iron, and it'll show you what the truss system and things like that will look like. So that's something you're interested in, you would want to get pricing to compare the two, go ahead and click on here. WolfSteel Buildings also offers permitting assistance. So that's something, as you can see here though, I would like to point out everything does say custom pricing because it's something that our team will have to give you. So we do offer permitting assistance. Engineering plans, this is something that you might not know if you'll need, you might already know when you start your project. A lot of people don't know. So if it's something that you're not sure if you'll need, you can definitely leave it off, but say maybe once you get your permitting information, you need to get those plans. We'll come back and we'll give you the cost, even if you didn't select it in your original design. Gutters and downspouts. This is a great option that you have if you're looking to control the rain, runoff, and erosion around your property or around your building. The cool thing about our gutter system is it will actually identically match your trim colors or whatever color. Even if you wanted a different color, let us know because it is the same material as the sheet panel that you have on here, so the colors can match identically. As for our tubular buildings. We also offer concrete work. Concrete work, we offer anything from concrete work, foundation, site prep, demolition work. If those are things that you'd be interested in, definitely let us know. Pricing is very key for these. One thing I would like to point out about our concrete work is everything starts with a solid foundation. So if you have a bad concrete, we've had problems where sometimes we've had to adjust because of the concrete work or things like that. Concrete is very, very, very important for your project. So I would like to emphasize that. Whether you get concrete with us or if you do decide to outsource it or maybe you already had it poured, definitely things that we'd go out there and our salesman will talk to you. We do offer spray foam insulation, whether you want 1 inch or 2 inch. We do have those two options. All of our spray foam is closed cell insulation. If you're looking for open cell, we would kind of talk to you and see what are the options that we offer, but that would be more if you're doing interior framing. Although we don't offer that, we could look at options for getting you that open cell for your interior framing if that's something that you're looking to do. For our spray foam insulation, we do have different options for colors. You have your white, your black, and a gray color. And they are an additional cost, but definitely something that would make a big difference. Let me go ahead and zoom in here because you can see that you will no longer be looking at how the tubing looks. Some people like how that looks, some people don't like how that looks. So it's definitely, you know, something to look forward to. That's something that you want to cover up with the installation. You want to say, hey, I want the white or I want the black, things like that. Our sales team will give you the pros and cons of each of those because as everything has its pros and cons. One thing I would like to point out though, now that we're looking at accessories and we looked at your doors and your windows, is we do have a video on the installation options. If you're looking to insulate your building, what are the type of accessories to look for? I will be linking that for you guys here. Last but not least, very, very, very important is financing. We do offer different financing options for you guys, and these financing options, we did do a video on that, so I'll link those 3 options for you. You also have the option to finance your project on your own if that's something that you're looking forward to. I will say our financing options are great. They have great abilities with different interest rates. Also, the credits and limitations on there are really good, and you have the ability to finance your whole project from start to finish with all of the accessories that we do offer. So I'll be popping up information on there, but if it's something that you're interested in, go ahead and click our financing options on here. These 2 small services that you see here are kind of something custom if you want us to install over an existing structure or cut the legs to size. Might not be something that you know just yet at that time, so if you leave them off and then later you tell us, definitely not an issue. Structural details is kind of the last thing that you see on here, and this pretty much gives you a breakdown of everything that you've selected on here. So it tells us that we have a 30 wide building, it is 40 long, we've selected concrete, these are the colors that we have, the roof pitch, things like that. So definitely a lot of information that on how to pretty much look over your project that you've selected and all the additional fees. And it does have a little bit of notes on some of the stuff that we do have for you guys. So it tells you a little bit about our warranties and potential equipment charges or things that you might potentially see depending on your project. Okay, Pack, this has been a really long video, but I hope that it provided a lot of value as to how to navigate this. Just some insights. I always kind of peek and stalk a little bit through some of the submissions that we have with our sales team, and that's actually our most common thing, where you guys are constantly resubmitting and you're like, oh, it's because I didn't know, or I didn't know I had this option, or I didn't know I could do this. So hopefully this gave you guys a little bit of insights as to how to navigate this. This is a great tool for you to really fully visualize this whole entire project that you're spending a lot of money on. One thing that now that I'm looking at, I did not point out is we have a little bit of a button off to the left-hand side, and it's called View in Your Space. So this is a little bit of a virtual reality. You can kind of go to your backyard and picture the building blown up. Obviously, it's not going to show it exactly how it'll look, but it'll give you an idea of what it is that you're looking to put on your property. But as always, guys, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to see more videos about WolfSteel buildings. Always leave us comments down below so we know what it is that you're looking, what you want to find, what you want to know more of. This one was just something that I saw from our sales team and kind of heard, so I wanted to make sure that I provided that for you guys. Our team is always readily available to help you, so our information will be at the end of this video. Thank you guys for sticking around.